All right, how your mind's hidden players shape everything you do. There's some hidden players in there. Did you know that the mind is a team, not a solo act? Have you ever caught yourself sabotaging your own goals or wondered why it can feel like you're waging an inner battle within yourself? What if I told you that yourself isn't a solo pilot after all, but a living team of motives, drives, and internal voices, each with its own agenda? This isn't just pop psychology or an excuse for bad behavior. It's the bleeding edge of modern psychoanalytic science. Today, you'll discover a radically new view of your mind, one that reveals how ego, drives, and internal objects actually call the shots in everything you do, think, and feel. If you've ever wanted a real answer for why you struggle with willpower, recurring habits, or self-criticism, this talk is for you. And get ready to see why understanding your inner team is the fastest route to self-mastery, resilience, and growth. Hey everyone, I'm Henry and you're watching day 70 on my channel, Henry's Millions. We made it, 70 days, where we just dive deep into psychology, philosophy, and neuroscience, helping you explore and master the forces that shape your life. Please take a second to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel and these videos that I make for you. All right, so let's bust this one true self myth. The myth that quietly holds millions of people back. The idea that there's just one I inside your head. A single true self making all your decisions. Classic psychology, self-help, and even some philosophical traditions push this view, unfortunately. But cutting-edge psychoanalytic theory, especially Simon Bogue's work with ego drives and internal objects framework, shows this isn't how the mind works at all. Reality check. Your so-called ego isn't a single captain, but a coalition of drives, hunger, ambition, desire for approval, need for comfort, craving for safety, and more. So the mind isn't run, by the way, by little people called the ego, the id, and the superego, arguing in a cartoon-like fashion. It's a dynamic web where different motives contend and collaborate moment by moment. Bogue's breakthrough is ego is a coalition of drives. These aren't theoretical abstractions. Your longing for dessert, your fear of rejection, or passion for a project are each powered and shaped by real psychobiological engines. The id, the ego, and the superego, they are not players, but labels for overlapping motivational processes. What feels like willpower or weakness is usually just a tug of war between rival motivations. Think about it. You ever resolve to eat healthy, only to be haunted by a craving for a midnight snack? Both voices are real, each driven by different priorities. Your mind at work as a living committee. So recall the last time you felt torn between two desires. That friction. It wasn't failure, it was your internal coalition in debate. So next time, instead of judging yourself, investigate. Who's at the table right now? Let's talk about drives here, because I know a lot of people that are on social media, people talk about drive. We don't know what it is. It's a blob. It's like motivation. Where's this drive? He's driven, she's driven, whatever. Let's talk about drives. Whatever every urge you feel, speaking up, eating cookies, checking your phone, or falling into procrastination, it's not random, but powered by a network of drives with their own intelligence. So Bogue's central teaching, especially in this document, this research that I was doing for you, that drives are not just animal instincts or passing feelings, they're enduring psychobiological engines, each scanning your inner and outer world for ways to satisfy themselves. Are you hearing this? Bogue calls them knower-doers or knowers, systems within you that know, prioritize, and act with purpose. Each drive shapes attention, memory, decisions. When the hunger drive is active, everything looks edible. When the approval drive is charged, every micro-criticism feels huge. The old split between ego drives, acceptable wants, and id drives, forbidden, hidden wants, it's not natural or fixed. It's shaped by your upbringing, culture, and personal history. What gets accepted or repressed is social and contextual. Let's take a few examples. Late night snacking. Is it just hunger or also the need for comfort, boredom relief, or even rebellion? Jealousy, a drive for connection, wrestles with insecurity of fear or loss. What about drive for achievement versus the craving for rest or play? So even your most logical, rational moves are ultimately pleasure-seeking, just using longer-term or socially strategic thinking, right? So that both the id and the ego, they're both seeking the same thing, just in different ways. There's no hard boundary between noble and selfish desires. They all come from the same motivational engine room. So next time you notice a stubborn habit or an addictive cycle or emotional trigger, just pause and ask, which drives are in competition here? What is each actually trying to get for me? And write down each player and its goal. I'm serious here. These aren't games or jokes. I'm serious. Do this. This is work for adults. So understanding your drives isn't just insight. It's the secret to breaking stuck patterns and powerfully changing your automatic reactions. So what about this talk about two minds, a multiplicity? So have you ever caught yourself thinking, part of me wants to do this, but another part is totally against it? So we're often to judge this as a weakness, as a lack of character or integrity. I have a video about indecisiveness and, whipsawing or waffling. But Bogue's research shows that this state is not a flaw. It's the human mind's default. Multiplicity is built in. Every self is a coalition. It's not a monolith. It's a coalition. Each drive has its own unique perceptions, priorities, and sometimes even its own memories. And the mind's ability to split, fragment, and temporarily host competing priorities or even identities, it's healthy and vital for adaptation. At any given moment, your decisions reflect which coalition of drives is at the wheel. I'll give you a quick story. A student preps intensely for finals, driven by an achievement to drive. Yet in the final hours finds herself watching Netflix. What happened? An avoidance drive? Wanting comfort, fearing failure? Took the mic for a while. Think of the entrepreneur bouncing between hunger and success and fear of risk. Think about the critic and the rebel jockeying for influence. They're all real players inside. So there's a myth here, splitting and being of two minds isn't just for those with dramatic problems, right? I know when we first heard this word splitting, what the heck? It's not just for those with dramatic problems. It's universal. Even dreams, as Fairbairn shows, are filled with multiple figures, each embodying a piece of the dreamer's mind. So take a few minutes tonight to write down, what are the main players in your current big conflict at work, in love, or with a habit? Write down the players. Name each one as you feel it. Even if it's a critic, a pleaser, a rebel, or a nurturer. The mind really is a team sport. When you name your inner lineup, you can finally start powerful inside-out change. This really works, guys. I've done this before. It's incredible. So take a few minutes and write these things down. So let's talk about internal objects for a moment here. These are the living scripts running behind the scenes. So where do your harshest self-criticisms or deepest longings actually come from? Why do childhood dramas seem to replay in your mind decades later? Here are some insights from Bogue and Fairbairn. These are two big names in psychology. Internal objects aren't just memories or abstract fantasies. They are dynamic, semi-autonomous scripts inside of you. They take the form of internal voices, themes, and even full-blown characters, shaped by formative relationships such as parents, teachers, partners. And these living scripts or objects become part of the internal team. I know we're using flowery language here. I want to make it, nice and easy for you here. It's a team. Sometimes the players aren't really, they don't really work well with you. They're not cooperative. So just let's go with this here, okay? Critical parent echoing in your self-doubt, for example. Conversely, a nurturing figure comforting you in stress. Wouldn't that be great? Or a saboteur derailing your efforts at big moments. Like self-sabotage, that's big. This is exactly what we're talking about here. You can get down into why that's happening. So these living scripts become part of what makes up your internal team, okay? Internal objects can take over your thoughts, your feelings, and even behavior. I want to repeat that for you. Internal objects, they often do take over your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. You think it's your thought. You think it's your feeling. Sometimes it's not, and the behavior ensues. Especially if these scripts haven't been surfaced, challenged, or updated. Your inner critic isn't just random negativity. It's an internalized voice, often trying to keep you safe by old standards. They probably don't serve you anymore. An example, or the sense of paralysis facing new opportunities because an internalized teacher's script warned against it, or a partner. The urge to self-sabotage right when things are going well, fueled by an inherited protective script from childhood. So let's take some action here with this, okay? Next time you hear an inner voice holding you back or cutting you down, ask, whose script is this really? Is it still serving my life now, or just old, outdated code? So I'd like for you to map your top 2 or 3 recurring internal voices, okay? Try to sniff them out from how they feel, they seem, they sound. And sometimes it's going to seem like it's you, but it's not, right? Describe their tone, their likely origin, and what they want. Awareness is the first step to rewriting your inner playbook. That's what we talk, if you ever heard about people in spiritual circles saying, peel back the layers, peel off the layers, become the true you. This is exactly the work that's needed here. To identify the voices and the objects, the thoughts, the feelings, the behaviors that are in you, but they're not you. So let's talk about change and building a stronger inner team for you, inner team. The pop culture says growth is about silencing inner conflict and finding your one real self. Even worse, some say it's gratitude, which it's not. Neuroscience and psychoanalysis say different. True transformation is about integration, building a more adaptive, resilient, and ever-updating team inside. Conflict, rivalry, and negotiation between motives are not psychological bugs, they are features. Now, Bog and Fairbairn both show that lasting change happens when you surface all the major drives and the internal objects, and you truly understand their motives and renegotiate their roles in your current life. And the lines between the ego, the id, and internal objects are fluid. You can change this team's makeup by changing your understanding, the context or values. So instead, it means giving each internal player a seat at the table, listening to each voice, and refusing to let any one part go rogue or dominate the show by default. Okay, integration is not about banishing your critic or your reckless part. It's about finding out what each one is trying to do for you and helping them adapt their strategies for your present life. I'm going to give you 4 actionable steps for this integration process. This is packed with value today. I hope you share this video with others. Please like and subscribe. Okay, number 1, spotting recurring patterns. Notice moments you get stuck, flare up, or repeat old behaviors. Ask, which drives or voices are at play here? Number 2, name and describe each. What's its history? What's its motive? A lesson learned from childhood, a protective urge, or a longing? Is it echoing someone important? Number 3, invite dialogue. Give each part a chance to speak. You heard me right. Let each internal object in you speak. Listen to it. What is it hoping for? What does it fear? Is it stuck playing an outdated role? It's perfectly normal. Nobody needs to know anyways. Seek creative team building. Instead of fighting your critic or freezing out your rebel, ask, what role could it play now if it had new, updated information? Because this mastery is not about silencing the inner players. It's about becoming your own best coach. Listening, updating old scripts, and renegotiating the team's strategy for your real current goals. So here's your empowering truth today. Your mind isn't broken, chaotic, or flawed. It's brilliantly complex. It's made up of living drives and internal voices, each designed to protect, motivate, or help you. By mapping your team, well, in some circumstances, they're not, but that's a video for another day. By mapping your team, honoring each part's original mission, and inviting them into honest dialogue, you rewrite the script of your life. True mastery means welcoming your whole committee into the light and updating everyone's role for your next stage. I've got a challenge for you this week, okay? Create your own inner team roster. Write down each major drive or internal script you notice. And these could be, in some styles of psychology or schools of psychology, they call these, there's something called like the autonomous complexes. Whatever you want to call this, the objects, the drives, the complexes, the little people inside of you. One could be, fearful. One could be angry. One could be hurt. Whatever it is, give it a name, give it a label, identify it. Where did it come from? How old were you? And communicate with it. See why it exists. It exists for a reason. There's a reason it exists, and it was to help you. And that's the part of the work of integration. Okay, and so notice which help you, which are holding you back. Some of them, a lot of them may be holding you back today, and they're not needed anymore. Thank them for the work they've done, but their services are no longer required, or change the work that they do for you. And they could be ready for an upgrade. So your strongest self is not the loudest voice inside, by the way. It's the one who can listen, adapt, and get the whole team moving in the right direction, okay? So for more hands-on exercises and even deeper talks about psychology, neuroscience, spirituality, please like and subscribe. And YouTube thinks you should watch this video next from my channel as best for viewer recommendation. Don't look at me. And we'll see you on the next one.